Guys, so a family in the UK are facing the risk of going back to Nigeria after buying a house in the UK. So they have a house in the UK, they bought a house in the UK that they are still paying mortgage, just still actively right now still paying mortgage, sorry, for the house. They are still paying mortgage for the house, but they are facing risk of going back to Nigeria. You know the new policy, the new law that states that you must work 3 months in healthcare in care sector for you to be sponsored by the care sector. So she, even though the lady that narrated this story said she has a company she's working for before, but and they promised to sponsor her, but they cancelled on her last minute, and her visa is expiring on in September. So she doesn't have 3 months to work. She doesn't have that 3 months to work. So she's now asking, like she's begging people that, oh, what company can sponsor them without having to work 3 months ahead, like the new law and everything. And that's what that person is actually asking for. That is what she needs an opinion on. But my own concern now is that the house they bought, that they are still actively paying mortgage. Let's say God forbid they are later sent to Nigeria, they later went back to Nigeria. How will the government be the owner of the house? Will all the bank? I don't know. How will that go? Please, I need your opinion in the comment section. Respectfully, how will that go? Will they still have ownership to the house? Will the government, just since they've been sent back, will the house belong to the government? I don't know how that will work. So it's quite confusing. Well, that's what is confusing me in all this thing, that will that house belong to them or the government? That is actually what is bothering me. So if you know the answer, please, you can drop your opinion in the comment section. So right now they are facing risk of going back, and they need suggestion of companies that she can work. She said she moved to UK, and within 2 years they already, so it's an applaud. I applaud her, because she said they just moved into UK. Take a lot of discipline to be able to buy a house within 2 years of moving into the UK. So, but before I go further, before I explain more of this video, there is a very detailed video explaining this particular story that I'm telling you, and I would like for you to sit back and watch, and then I'll be right back.
You know, when I see videos where people say, oh, I bought a house under 2 years in UK, I thought maybe they just put it as caption. I thought it was a joke. It's real. People come here and save and afford mortgage and buy a house under 2 years. It must take a lot of discipline, a lot of savings, you know. Even if you're rich from Nigeria, changing naira to pounds, I congratulate all of you that do that. It's a big deal. You should be proud of yourself. But now, you know, I made a post yesterday about a girl that was stuck, a family that was stuck because the company refused to give her COS. Another lady has reached out to me that she's facing the same issue. Her visa expires 1st of September. Her company has reached out to her that no longer sponsoring her after giving her hope that they will sponsor her. Now, this new law that says you must work 3 months in a care sector to be sponsored in a care sector will affect her, because now, where do you go and get? You need to have worked with a company for 3 months, and she does not have time anymore. 1st September, her visa expires. Guess what? They have mortgage. They bought a house and they're paying mortgage. So they are worried. In that case, that kind of investment that they have done in this country, can there be an exemption for them? Or what happens? God forbid they have to leave back to Nigeria. Will government take over their property, or are they allowed to sell it? What happens? You know, I really want to know. They want to know as well. But also, I'm here to beg on their behalf. It's the only care sector that requires that you work for 3 months before you are sponsored. If you know of any other sponsorship that is not care related, please share. If you don't want to share in the comments, come to my DM and share with me, please. Let me give it to her to try. Whatever certifications it needs, she's ready to do it. Please, any sponsorship job you know that is not care, does not require working for 3 months to be sponsored, please come and share with me in the DM. Thank you. Why are employers allowed to promise sponsorship and then last minute to the time they pull out on you? especially with this new law that says you need to work for 3 months before you get sponsorship. So imagine you have 5 months left on your visa. You now work for 3 months for an employer. After the 3 months, they tell you they will no longer sponsor you. After they've promised they will sponsor you, now you have 2 months left. What are you going to do with that 2 months? It does not even make sense, because there's a lady that her employer promised her sponsorship. She worked for them because they said they would sponsor her. She was a dependent to a post-study main applicant. Now her visa is expiring in August, that's next month, and the employer writes to her last week to tell her that they are no longer sponsoring her. How will she help herself? Because from 22nd she needs to work with someone for 3 months to be able to be sponsored. She does not have any driver's license, nothing, so she cannot get quick sponsorship before that new 22nd law. So there should be a law protecting employees from employers like that. If you have offered in your job description that you're going to sponsor, you cannot pull out last minute, especially with this law, this new law. So you don't leave people stranded and let them become overstayers. Now, if the same thing I told the lady, if you're in this kind of situation, people have seen that we're in this kind of situation even before now. What they do is to apply for further leave to remain, FLR. Because it's better you try that route. That's like your only means now. It's better you do that than to become an overstayer. So if you apply for further leave to remain, since it's like last minute option and you don't have time again, I would say apply using an immigration lawyer. Because if you use an immigration lawyer for this application, you have higher chances of getting approved. I'm not saying it's certain, but most times it's better you going through them, so they will know how to handle it and put in the application for your sake. Me, I know a lot of immigration lawyers, but the only one I recommend, which I've seen people in this kind of case go through, I'm going to tag him to this post. So you're going to click the post, follow him if you, and then send him a DM if you're in this kind of situation. Do not become an overstayer. I've had like 5 persons in my DM with this case. Please guys, try the further leave to remain route. Don't just relax and keep saying once you become an overstayer, you're an overstayer. Okay, because now with this new law, once it's 22nd, which is almost here, nobody will give you COS except you work with them for 3 months. So this time, if you know you don't have time again, sharply go and send him a DM to help you and apply for further leave to remain. May God help us, and they should come up with a law that saves us from employers that leave till last minute to pull out on COS and leave people stranded.
So in that video, you can see that most things that I said there are things that I already talked about. It's just that it is more explained and you get to hear the details and everything. And guys, things are really unpleasant for some people over here. Things are really unpleasant for some people. I just don't know the kind of situation that young lady and her family will be in, you get. And I hope she got it sorted before her visa will expire. And so please, on this channel we bring you premium updates, no fake news. Everything is always legit, so please do well to follow, like and share for more video. Thank you.